What's up, people? Peek out here in Singapore. It is late. But what else is new? You expect that from me now, don't you? Um, I've been up late and working on a couple things. I have a couple new projects in the works. I have been trying to keep up with my fitness because I really want to quit already. Y'all, it's only day 3. And I'm tired, like physically tired. You know that feeling when you're sitting down and you're tired and you're like, your feet kind of like have like a spasm because that sleepy feeling is creeping up through your legs. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. But I'm gonna knock this out anyway because I have something I want to talk about. So I was having one of those conversations or live video sessions in one of my groups, and my coach got on and she had a live session, and then I did a live session after that. So I was just listening to what she had to say, and something she said hit me really hard. So August mentioned the fact that when you are trying to connect with your clients, people need to understand that you're open for business, right? And they also need to understand that while you could sit there and have a whole half an hour conversation to calm them down, talk them off the ledge, all that stuff, they also need to respect the fact that what you do is not one of those, I ask you a question, you answer one answer, and then it's all good. That's not how that works. You ask me a question, but you need to be ready to invest in me like I'm ready to invest in you. I can't give you a one-liner answer. That's not going to solve your problems. It's probably not even going to connect to a point where you could understand what I'm trying to tell you. So if you ask me, I'm quoting this directly today because I had somebody ask me, I broke up with my girlfriend and I'm having trouble getting over her. What do I do? Well, there's a couple of different answers I could give you, but if I were to say something like, oh, well, you need to start loving yourself, and leave it at that, would you be satisfied with my answer? Hell no, you wouldn't. You'd be mad as hell. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean I need to love myself? Of course I love myself. You're going to want to fight me on it. You're going to want to understand what do you mean by love myself? Does that mean I need to go hit the spank bank? What do I need to do? But to that's what I didn't realize. I can't have a conversation with you right now and solve all your problems on the phone. Because if that's the case, I might as well go, join, I don't know, and do missionary work for volunteer purposes. But this is my bread and butter. I can't afford to do that, right? My daughter needs to be able to eat. I need to be able to eat. And I'm not saying, it's gourmet food or nothing, but if I took years and years and years to master myself to the point that I want to help you guys, that means you need to respect the fact that it took me years and years and years to master myself and the fact that I want to help you guys. And it's going to take time away from my daughter for me to sit down and talk to you to get you sorted. And even then, it's not going to be a one conversation kind of thing because to master yourself, like I said, it took me years. It took me years because I was stubborn. It took me years because there were parts of the conversations I did not like. When I found that I had to deal with the fact that I have a problem with being left behind, I have separation anxiety on some level. I needed to deal with that because I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I needed to dig back to the first time I was left behind and where that fear started like getting bigger, where it started snowballing. So when you look for a snowball, you don't look for where it ended up. You look for where it started. What happened? What pebble fell where for it to start rolling down the hill and gathering speed and mass at the same time? And for me, it started off with the fact that I had a very irregular childhood. Yes, I have a mother and a father just like everybody else. But my mom left me with my grandparents to be raised by them. And that was cool and everything, but then that developed a rift between me and my mom, which we've since patched up, but that's where all that began. So now I don't trust people to stick around because from then onwards, from that time in my life onwards, I've done nothing but move around all my life, which means every time I sit down and get ready to make some friends and get to know people and kind of, make my way in the world, it's not going to be 6 months before I get up and have to move to another country or another city to a different school all over again, which means back then, before social media, I wasn't going to be able to keep in touch with nobody, which means I cut you all off and I got to go. Which means I'm not good at keeping relationships or maintaining relationships past a certain point because I'm afraid you're gonna see me for what I think I am, which is terrible, and you're gonna leave me at some point. Which means I'm gonna hold you at arm's length instead of actually opening up to you and treating you the way that you should be treated. So if it took me that amount of work to figure out where the hell I had this particular problem, do you think I can solve your issues in one conversation? There's no way in hell. And that's a hell of an expectation to put on me. That's a lot of pressure. And that's a lot for you to expect of yourself because one conversation is not enough. It didn't take one conversation for you to fall in love with that person. Okay, maybe it did because you probably replayed that conversation 10,000 times. But the point is, it took you a while to develop those feelings. So it's going to take you a while to come out of those feelings. It's going to take you a mourning period. Usually they say it's half the length of your relationship for you to mourn and get over it. But that also means it's going to take you time to go to those places that you shared with this person and not feel anything anymore. To do the things you used to do with that person, it could be grocery shopping. Let me tell you this, when I left my husband and came to Singapore, grocery shopping was hard for me. Why? Because I bought things specifically for my daughter, my son, my husband, and my baby. I had those people in mind. And suddenly, here I am in Singapore with just my baby. I don't have to worry about what the adults in the family eat anymore because I don't cook for them no more. They're not with me. It was hard. I was in a completely different country, so I didn't have to deal with, I go to this place and he used to go with me, he used to do this with me, none of that. I didn't have to deal with that. But grocery shopping was difficult because I was one who cooked for the family. When it came to how I dressed, that was different for me because suddenly I didn't have to worry about what my husband might say if I walked out the house dressed a certain way. And for him, he wanted me to be dressed up. I like dressing down. I look like a bum most days. I'm cool with that. But it's not going to be one question, one answer conversations that's going to be able to help you with that. You're going to have to invest in this because you have to do some shadow work. You have to dig into some of those ugly places that you would rather not talk about or admit that you even have, because that's where all the real healing takes place. It's difficult. We're not used to talking about our emotions. Sometimes it comes out wrong. Sometimes you want to say something and it comes out wrong and you're scared you're going to piss people off or hurt people's feelings. But more than that, a lot of times when you say something out loud, you're afraid that they're going to take it wrong and they're going to say something in return and that's going to hurt your feelings. A lot of times you speak with the intent not to piss anyone off because we don't want them to piss us off in the meantime, like retaliate. So how does that actually help? We're over here tiptoeing around each other, not really having the conversations we're supposed to have, and it takes us 10 times longer to get to the point. And a lot of times I can't teach you those things in one conversation. You're going to have to talk to me a couple times. You're going to have to talk to me when those moments pop up where you really feel like, oh my God, I can't take it. I really miss them. I want to reach back out to them. I want to fix this. I want to go back because I knew what to expect then. She was great. Versus when you were in the relationship, y'all weren't so happy. But you don't want to admit that. So you see, when we do coaching work, there is no one answer. There are lots of theories about how things are supposed to be done, but until we actually put them into practical terms, we don't know if that theory works for you. Let me put this in very plain terms. Everyone has a different way of learning, right? Some are auditory learners, some are visual learners, some are hands-on learners. Some people have to rewrite notes 10 times to learn what they're writing or what they're learning. And if I didn't know anything about you and you said you want me to teach you how to learn blah, 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 I can type it out and send it to you. But if you're one of those people that needs to talk through it so you can explain to me what you understand and ask me questions, that's not going to work very well for you. And you're going to tell me I'm a bad tutor, right? Let's say we're teaching you how to cook. And let's say you're one of those people where you are a hands-on learner. So it's not enough to watch a YouTube video to learn how to cook. You need someone right there with you to make sure you're doing it right. You could watch and learn, but you'd rather do it hands-on and make sure someone can correct you along the way. So I don't know which way of teaching will help you until I speak to you a couple times. You might not know which way works best for you until you try it first and realize that it didn't result anything. Which is why we as coaches need to be able to think on our feet. I've had plenty of situations like that. I've had plenty of situations where my client is like, you told me to do this and it didn't quite work and I don't understand what happened, but, the person I was talking to actually flipped out on me and we got into another fight. Okay, fine. What happened when you fought? How did it go down? What were the comments that came up from the fight itself? Did you initiate? Did they initiate? I need to be able to ask all those questions because I physically was not there. And I need to trust that you're going to tell me objectively what happened, which is not very often that I'm going to get an objective response. I got to be truthful, right? I got to be honest. But until you can articulate all those things, I won't be able to help you. And even when I do help you, you're going to have to try some new things that you've never tried before. And I don't know if you tried it verbatim or not until we find out what happened at the back end. I have a live-in couple who has a lot of trouble. They fight, they bicker a lot. And I'm trying to figure out why they bicker so much. There shouldn't be that much trouble to bicker. I mean, there shouldn't be anything to fight about that much. You do the same thing every day. You wake up, you go to work, you eat, you come home, you sleep. That's pretty much it. And if you know all of that, you should have at some point figured out how to work and live around each other. But if after a year you're still fighting each other about everything, there's something else going on. There's something else going on. It's very simply put. But I can't figure out what that something else is unless you know what it is and you can tell me. And if you don't know what it is, that means you're going to have to go through a couple of trial and error moments where we troubleshoot and see if it's this or if it's this or if it's this. Oh, okay, this is the one that hurts. This must be it then. It's not as simple as you would think. I don't have all the answers, but I do have a lot of intuition. And I know which questions to ask. And I can see from the outside where you happen to be focusing your energy. And if where you're focusing is actually productive or not. It's funny, I can see it for all of you. When it comes to building my business, I need my coach. Because I'm dealing with my own fears. And I'm avoiding certain things because I'm scared it won't work. But I need my coach to say, look, come on now. Stop fucking around. You got this. Let's go do this. I want to be able to help you guys. But I need you to take it seriously. I have a lot of looky-loos who ask me questions. Oh, can you help me with this? Yeah, I can help you with this. But it's going to cost you, and suddenly they disappear. Okay, cool. That's fine too. But this is not simple work. And I take this work very seriously. Because mental health is everything to me. Your emotional well-being is everything to me. So if you really want to talk, be ready to invest some time and money, because that tells me how serious you are about your own mental health. I love you guys. I want you to thrive. I don't want you to exist. I want you to thrive. I want you to show up every day and meet your life and enjoy it. That's the goal. It's that simple. I hope this made sense. I'll catch you again soon. Bye.